Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Capo Creates Content. Thank you for joining me here. Today we are going to be taking a look at Democracy 3. What is Democracy 3? It is a game developed by Positech Games, the third installment of the Democracy franchise. And in this franchise, you control a country. You are the president, you are the prime minister, you make the decisions about the country, about the policy, and you try and stay elected. So, what are we going to do today? Today we're going to start a new game. We have all of the expansions installed. So we have got the social engineering, the extremism, and the clones and drones expansions installed. And so let's rattle into a new game. What choices do we have? Well, we have the United Kingdom, we have France, Germany, the United States, Canada, and Australia. So obviously I would know the most about the United Kingdom, Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It's one of 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council and a founding member of NATO and the Commonwealth. The UK is also an active member of the EU, although it chooses to retain its sovereign currency rather than join the euro. The UK is a constitutional monarchy where the monarch's power is effectively ceremonial. The parliamentary system is used to elect the House of Commons under a constituency-based first-past-the-post system. So, population of 63 million people as of July 2012, 234,610 square kilometres in land size, with a life expectancy of just a shade over 80 years. GDP per capita 36,700, basically works out as the gross domestic product per person. Poverty 14% as of 2006. The ethnicity 92.1% white. We'd love to know when that statistic was taken. I believe that's probably changed now. The religion is Christian 71.6. Again, we'd love to know when that stat was taken. I believe that has probably changed as well. Tea consumption 2.3 kilograms per person per year, and the obesity index 23%. Big Mac index $3.32. So, that's the UK. I skipped past Scotland because this was an add-on I installed to try it out. France, a semi-presidential republic and the largest country in Western Europe. It claims to fame include being the most visited country in the world. I bet that's mostly Paris. And provider of the best overall healthcare according to the World Health Organization. Also has the world's 5th largest military budget and the world's 3rd largest stockpile of nuclear weapons, so let's presume that's behind the US and maybe Russia? I'm not sure. It's one of the founding members of the United Nations and a permanent seat on the UN Security Council like the UK. It's a member of the G8, NATO, the OECD and the WTO. So population of 65 million people, skies of 674,000 square kilometres, life expectancy 81.56, just a shade more than the UK. Roman Catholic is the primary religion, between 83 and 88%. Internet users 45.2 million out of the 65 million, so 20 million people don't use the internet. That's interesting. Population growth 0.47%, so it is positive. Obesity rate a mere 9.4%, makes the UK look horrible. Happiness level of 84%, croissant consumption 50 million per week, and cannabis use 4.7%. Next up is Germany, the most populous member state of the EU. As well as a founder member of the EU, is also a member of the UN, NATO, the G8, the OECD and the Council of Europe. The German economy is the 4th largest economy in the world, 2nd largest exporter and the 3rd largest importer of goods. Germany is also the biggest net contributor to the EU budget. The head of state is the president, but the chancellor is the head of the government and exercises executive power. So 81 million people as of July 2013, a size of 357,000 square kilometres. Life expectancy 80.32, so a shade behind France, but about equal with the UK. GDP per capita $39,100. Poverty 15.5%, ethnicity 91% white. Religion, Christianity 68%, the obesity rate 12.9, a bit higher than France. Beer consumption 119 litres per person per year, and the sausage consumption £60 per person per year. So, the United States of America, Federal Republic, consisting of 50 states. The USA is the 3rd largest country by land area and population, and is the world's largest national economy with an estimated 19% of total global GDP when measured by purchasing power parity. country accounts for 39% of global military spending, despite containing only 4.46% of the global population. The US President acts as both the head of state and the head of the government, as well as the Commander-in-Chief of the US Armed Forces. So this is the big one. Population 316 million people, a size of 9,826,000 square kilometres. Life expectancy a bit lower, 78.62 years. GDP per capita a bit higher, 49,800. 16% poverty, ethnicity 79.9% white. The dominant religion, Christianity, 78.3%. Obesity rate, 30.6%. That is massive. And the Big Mac Index, $4. The beef consumption, 57.4 pounds per person. So, Canada. Canada became a self-governing dominion in 1867 while retaining ties to the British Crown. The government is a parliamentary democracy, a constitutional monarch with Queen Elizabeth II as the head of state. That's the British Queen. The country is officially bilingual and multicultural. The economy is one of the largest in the world, relying primarily on its rich natural resources. Canada is a member of the G8, NATO and the Commonwealth of Nations, as well as the UN. So, population 33 million as of 2011, size 9,984,000 square kilometres, life expectancy 81.57 years, and the GDP per capita 41,500. Poverty rate's only 9.4%. The ethnicity, interestingly, British 28%, French 23%, mixed 26%. Largest religion is Christianity, 70.3%. An estimated moose population of 750,000. The maple syrup consumption, 0.26 kilograms per person. And the Big Mac Index, $4.63. The last one we come on to, Australia. The world's 6th largest country by total area and the world's 12th largest economy. A relatively wealthy country, it's the world's 5th highest per capita income. Australia is a member of the G20, the OECD, the Commonwealth and the UN. The head of state is the British monarch Queen Elizabeth II, but the government is controlled by the Prime Minister. The Australian economy is characterised by low debt, continuing economic growth and low unemployment. So, population size is 22.26 million as of July 2013. The country size, 7,692,000 square kilometres. Good life expectancy, 81.98 years. GDP per capita, $65,000 per person. That is very, very big. Poverty is at 12.8% though, so a little bit on the high side. Ethnicity, 92% white. Religion, 91% Christian. Vegemite consumption, 22 million jars a year. The obesity rate, 21.7%, and the Big Mac Index, $4.62. So, who are we going to go for? That is the question. Let's go for the UK. It is the home country, and let's see how we go. So the party name, we are going to be, let's not be the Liberal Democrats, we will be the Labour Party. It does go against my nationalist leanings in Scotland, but our opposition party will be the Conservatives. Term length, 4 years as per usual. Term limit, no limit. The difficulty, 100%. Political apathy, 40%. Inane socialism, 100%. And inane liberalism, 100%. There is a monarchy, there is no compulsory voting. Earthquakes and hurricanes, we don't have them over here, so there is no point in having them in the game. So let us get into this and see how we go. Rub my hands together with glee at the prospect of taking over in the UK. So here we go. Congratulations on your election victory. Welcome to your new job as Prime Minister. The lives of all 46,000 citizens now rest in your hands. As you'll imagine, there's a number of situations and concerns that you'll need to deal with as soon as possible while keeping an eye on the long-term improvement and the citizens' quality of life. Plus, do not forget that you face a re-election in 4 years, and so you'll need to monitor the opposition polls and the party membership. So, good luck. Good luck indeed. So, we can see from starting GDP quite low. Overall health is pretty good. Education is not bad. Quite a high unemployment though, quite a high crime rate. and quite high poverty. So we will need to deal with some of these things. Let's get in and begin our term in office. So looking around, we can see that the socialist vote is quite high. And these are the things that, as you can see, that it is related to. Just to give you a brief rundown, blue here represents things like oil demands, car usage, oil prices, and the things that it links to are the things that make a difference here. So energy efficiency reduces oil demand, that's why it's red. GDP increases, car usage increases, etc. That's why they're green, and these things all feed in. You can see the arrow going the other way out as well, out towards oil price. So let's have a look at the things that are red. First of all, we have the homelessness situation. Homelessness, as you can see, massively dependent on unemployment. So this is hugely dependent on that. Again, you can see that it's a problem for the liberals, it's a problem for the poor, and it's a problem for the middle income. Things coming out of homelessness, you can see crime. More homeless, more crime. And the things that lead into homelessness, expensive private housing, poverty, unemployment, property taxes, all of these things lead into homelessness. So these are all things we're going to need to try and deal with. Next up, we have an uncompetitive economy. That upsets the capitalist voters, and the things that lead into that, you can see corporation tax is the big one. Corporation tax, productivity also there as well. Now there's nothing we can directly do about productivity, but there is things we can directly do about corporation tax. However, obviously that would have a knock-on effect elsewhere. Other things, technological backwater, and this is caused in part, science funding is low. So science funding being low makes us that technological backwater. Creationism versus evolution. This is about teaching in schools. The more evolution that you teach, the higher the science level is, and the lower the technological backwater is, but that would have a backlash against the religious voters. Creationism, high on the religious vote, but obviously it reduces the science. What else do we have that is red? We've got organised crime. Organised crime, quite a problem, leads into crime, leads into violent crime, things leading into it, narcotics, things we can do to reduce it. Intelligence service, increase the intelligence service, decrease the organised crime. Also, we have the alcohol abuse. Problems that lead into alcohol abuse, alcohol consumption, poverty, unemployment, all of these things lead into it. And what can we do to deal with it? We can use community policing, we can use the police force, we can use alcohol pricing, all of these things to try and combat alcohol abuse. Also, vigilante mobs. These appear to be a big problem for conservative voters, a big problem for tourism. Obviously, having violent vigilante mobs roaming around, big problem for tourism industry in the country. So what can we do about that? Police force, CCTV cameras, reduce racial tension, reduce the crime, reduces the vigilante mobs. Now the last one, I just need to move my camera forward because it is underneath where the camera is. So let's just pop that off, move this over here, and as we can see, the last big problem, an asthma epidemic. What can we do about it? Well, we can try to reduce car usage, we can try to increase things in the environment, we can try and work with the health service to try and reduce that. Asthma epidemic, big effect on parents for the voters, and also lowers productivity as well. So all these things we need to deal with. Who likes us, who doesn't like us? Capitalists, they are not happy with us. Trade unionists are not happy with us. And the middle income section is not happy with us. Who loves us? Environmentalists and the retired really like us. Overall popularity, very, very low. Not like, and look at that, it looks very unlikely that we would win another term in office at the moment. So we need to do something about that. What can we do? What do we tackle first? We only have 25 political capital. Looking at the budgets, our income £280 billion, our expenditure £273 billion. So that does give us a little bit of leeway, a little bit of something to play with. Not much, only about £6 to £7 billion per quarter. So what can we do? Let's continue looking at the state of the country. Let's have a look at the security briefing. As you can see, these are the people who are likely to cause us problems. Minimal at the moment. They haven't had a chance to look at our government and decide whether they love us or hate us. Looking down here, these at the bottom, starting at the Crusaders Lord all the way down to the Land Army, these are the people who are likely to try and assassinate us. So we need to keep a watchful eye on them. We do not want to be, we want to keep these as minimal as possible. Now, being an innate socialist at heart and trying to solve the problems of equality, normally the Battenberg group does not like me. They represent the capitalists, and they are normally the ones who would try to kill me. Having a look at the opinion polls, as you can see, we are not great down here. Capitalists, they don't like us. Middle income, trade unionists, the wealthy, it's low, and we need to try and do something to rectify this. What exactly we are going to do, I am not sure. What policies are popular? Community policing, prisons, police force, jury trial, legal aid, recycling, state schools, abortion law. These things people love. These are the things that we need to concentrate on to try and keep the voters happy. On the other hand, sales tax, alcohol tax, handgun laws, science funding, creationism versus evolution in schools, tobacco tax, they hate these things. These are the things we maybe need to look at and try and reduce, to try and make the people like us more and try to bring people back on side. We haven't done anything yet. Our political compass leans slightly socialist, slightly liberal. Let's see how that goes further in the game. Financial data, as you can see, the biggest drain on our finances at the moment, state pensions. An aging society means pensions. Pensions, state pensions, government pensions. 46.6 billion. Massive pension bill that perhaps we need to look at. Next is the State Health Service, the NHS, the crown jewel of the UK, has been a massive bargaining chip in elections throughout UK history since its introduction. The third largest expenditure is military spending, £26 billion, 9.7%. Again, as a socialist, I tend to want to reduce military spending. However, it's a great job creation and unemployment is high. We may put more money into military spending. State housing. Again, the socialist part of me thinks state housing, great idea, can try and eradicate homelessness by using state housing. However, a big drain on the resources, 23.6 billion, almost as much as the military spending. Same again, state schools, massive, 7.5%, £20 billion, a big drain. So interesting to see what the biggest strains in our economy are. On the income side of things, the main source of money, 157 billion, 56%, income tax, huge, desperately unpopular with everybody. Nobody likes to pay tax, but income tax, the largest single contributor. Sales tax next, that only accounts for 16%, 46 billion, and petrol tax, 21 billion, 7.8%. They are the big gains for us. Corporation tax, property tax, they're there as well. After that, it starts to dribble away through capital gains, inheritance, and tobacco. So, as you can see, massive. Massive debt as well, inherited debt of 793 billion from the previous government, so we perhaps need to try and do something about that. Okay, Policy ideas, we will get into them in the next episode. Achievements, again, we will ignore them for the moment. No need to look at them. This one, however, cabinet ministers, this determines how much political capital you get per turn. Political capital is used to enact policies and make policy decisions. So, fallen policy minister is Herman Ramirez. Beautiful British name, but clearly an ideal name to take over foreign affairs. His experience is not great, effectiveness so-so, but his loyalty is good, and that's what we like. Loyalty. The more loyal they are, the more political capital we get. So sympathetic towards capitalists, sympathetic towards liberals. Being a capitalist sympathiser does mean that it kind of gets the capitalists off my back a little bit. Peggy Collins is our welfare minister, so very loyal again, but again inexperienced, so on effectiveness. Sympathies go towards trade unionists and farmers. Again, good, because trade unionists tend not to like me, so that's great. On the economy, we have Dana Anderson. She is the Minister for Industry, very loyal, again experienced. So effectiveness, quite good though. And again, sympathies towards capitalists, which we like. We definitely like that. The Chancellor, we have a female Chancellor, Elaine Kelly, exceedingly loyal. Brilliant, love that, massively loyal. Experience again so-so, but they've just come into government. Effectiveness, not too bad. Sympathies go towards parents and the self-employed, so not the biggest help to us there. Parents is kind of handy. On to the Public Services Minister, that is Elmer Bennett. Again, fantastically loyal, we like that. Experience so-so, and effectiveness is quite good. Sympathies again towards trade unionists, which is great, keeps them off my back. Ethnic minorities is his other sympathy. The Law and Order Minister, Minister for Law and Order, Jackie Martin. Loyalty is pretty good. It's not as good as some of the others, but it's still right up there. Experience so-so, effectiveness. Sympathies go towards Conservatives and Socialists, but I suppose we will probably have Socialists on our side quite a lot with the policies I plan to enact. Laurie Bennett is our Transport Minister. Loyalty is a bit low actually. Experience so-so, effectiveness. Capitalist, religious sympathies. Capitalist is good, keeps them off of our back, and religious, well, we'll see what happens with them in the future. So we have had a look around. Let's have a look at the parties before we go. This is the Labour Party. Our members, 504,000. It has peaked to win the election. Our activists quite low, 2%, 94,000. On the other side of things, the Conservatives, they, 5 million members, massive political party, 630,000 activists. We are going to be hard pressed to turn them over, but we will try. We will try with some of our policy decisions. So let's hope that it works out for us. So this has been the first episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Democracy 3, and I've been Capo. So next episode, we'll start enacting some policies. We'll try and turn this country around. I thank you very much for viewing. Tune back in, and let's make Britain great again. It was a bit Donald Trump. See you next time.